Hi everyone, it's Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for a Kitaholic's Kits subscriber exclusive. So in this video, I'm showing you how I created the shaker pockets that I'm going to use on my 12x12 layout coming up next over on the Kitaholic Kits YouTube channel. So I've gone ahead and I've backed all of my flowers in the pattern paper I want to use, and I've backed 2 out of the 3 flowers that I'm going to turn into shaker pockets. So my first step, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to lay down a whole bunch of double-sided tape. Now the double-sided tape is quite bendy, but because of the shape of the flowers being quite intricate, I did find that sort of working with the tape already off the backing worked better for me to be able to sort of bend it around. I also could have used glue for this stage. It did not need to be tape. I just find that when I'm working with my glue, because I just use a purely wet glue, it's not a tacky glue or a quick dry, working with the double-sided tape takes longer initially to put it all out, but ends up better in the long run because it dries more quickly. Now, once I have put my double-sided tape all the way around my flower, I'll be then adhering the cover of my shaker pocket. So you need to have a think of what you want your cover to be. So you can use an acetate, like a thicker material. You could use like an empty laminated pocket so that it is also a little bit thicker. You could use a cut up piece of a like a pocket, a page protector. You could use old packaging. Some packaging comes in quite thick plastic, almost like a box. You could use that. You can also use just plastic, like the actual packaging, any of the packaging that we got in today's kit, like the packet that the bow came in would be perfect, or even the packet of your thickers. Now for me, I actually wanted to soften how shiny it is, because obviously if you use plastic, it's going to be quite a shiny surface, and also how clearly see-through it was. I actually didn't want it to be as see-through as glass. I wanted it to be a little bit opaque and a little bit softer. So I am going to cover mine with, there it is right there, vellum. Now it's not actually vellum. I find that vellum is quite expensive, so mine is tracing paper. I buy it in a pack from Officeworks, but any old tracing paper will do. Something of note is that tracing paper is a lot thinner than vellum, so it certainly doesn't have the same thickness or the same weight to it as what vellum does, but for everything that I have used it for, I have found my tracing paper has still lived up to the challenge. Now, if you are not being impatient or recording a video as a tutorial, I suggest you give your this a little bit of time to dry and then trim it now before you move on to this next step that I am doing. It will make the process a lot easier if you trim that first initial layer that you have put down the front of your shaker pocket. So that's my top tip for you. I did with every other flower. I didn't in this case because I wanted to keep pressing on to make this video for you. So I am again going around the outside of my flower with my double-sided tape. In this case, I do need to use double-sided tape. Again, it comes down to the kind of glue that I have. I just use a straight, normal, everyday PVA glue that is a wet glue. It is not a fast drying. It is not a tacky. So therefore, once it is glued, it holds really quite well, but it has just far too much wriggle room for something as delicate as this. The foam that I also use is not completely blank. It does have one side of the foam is a glitter texture. And for this to stick well, the PVA glue is just not really cutting it for me. So the double-sided tape is the best thing that I choose to use for it to, the glitter side, to stick well to my shaker pockets. If you are using non-glittered foam, you will be fine. So this is the foam that I use. You can see I had a whole stack rolled up together. I buy it in A3 sized sheets just from a cheap shop near my home. And I just cut the tiniest little slither off it. Side note, I put it through my Sizzix or my diamond press, and I cut out my own alphas as well. And you can see here I am now just using those really thin strips of foam to go around just the top edge of my flower. I want all the rest of the petal to be open, so I'm not going all the way down to that center dot, because I want all of my shakers, all of my sequins to be on the inside. And I want them to wriggle around and to shake about inside the flowers. So again, here is my giant roll of foam. I've got every color you can possibly imagine in this foam because I use it quite a bit. And it's about $2.50, I think, for the A3 size, so fairly effective pricing. So once I have gone all the way around each of my flower petals, remembering just to stick to the outside. It's really important at this stage that your foam is sticking down well and that you are not creating any gaps. You want that to be completely sealed. That's going to be like the lip of what holds all your sequins inside for your shaker. Then I'm going to fill it all in. Now again, you could get to this point and you could not be impatient and you could wait, and then you could cut off your vellum or your acetate or whatever you have used as the front of your layout. But again, I'm going to push ahead because I've got people watching this video and I want to make sure this video rolls. So I am putting on a decent amount of glue. I don't want to fiddle around with the double-sided tape for the third time. And as I said, my glue is not amazing. So I am sticking on just a plain white piece of paper, but I have used quite a lot of glue. I really want to make sure that's going to seal. I am then lightly pressing with my fingers all the way around that foam that I have had it. I want this 100% adhered so that none of my little sequins are going to sneak out. When that is done, you want to go ahead and let that all dry. Don't fiddle with it. Don't play with it. Something will move. Something will slide, and then Bob's your uncle and your sequins will be out and you'll need to fix up the process, and that will be annoying. I am going to go ahead and cut my vellum now very, very carefully because of course I don't want it moving. I'm not going to show you that entire process. You can imagine what that will be like. I actually end up getting my craft knife and just gently cutting all the way around with my craft knife and getting all that vellum off. So all I've got left is the white paper. So I'm going to cut off that vellum. I'm going to leave this to dry and I'm going to magically return. And here we are back. So now everything has adhered, everything is dry, the vellum is gone, and now I just have to cut the white paper from around my flower. This is a little bit of a delicate process because I don't want it to become unstuck. So you can see why I used so much glue, and it was really important to let that dry before fiddling around with it. Now I don't have to be super careful with how this is cut because anywhere that it overlaps with another flower, that's already covered. But I do want to make sure you can't see too much of the white sticking out. You can see there I'm just sort of tearing it a little bit. As long as it's not sticking out, all is good. Do be careful with how you cut it though, because you don't want to tear the inside part of your flower. That's what's holding all your sequins in. I am, just for my safety, I am adding a little bit of sticky tape there. Just want to make sure no little sequins are going to slip out. This is the biggest risk when making your shaker pockets. You really want to make sure that everything stays adhered, that you're using your best possible glue. I've heard that the Scotch quick dry tacky glue is good, and I've also heard that the Novo glue is good. So definitely make sure you are using your best glue in your kit. But there you are. That's done. It is solid as a rock. Those shakers shake, and I am happy and I am ready to start on my layout. Thanks everyone, and I will see you next time.